live. Hello, hello. Is anybody out there in YouTube land? If you are, welcome, welcome. We do have the phone lines open if anybody wants to chat. 928-476-0112. Also, it is an open panel, meaning if that link, it'll bring you backstage here on an app called StreamYard. StreamYard will ask me, hey, got this crazy guy back here. You want to let him on? And I can either block him, kick him, or add him up onto the stage. And once you're on the stage, you can even share things on your own. If there's something you want to show the audience, you can, request control of the dashboard. And you can put anything you want up there, videos, images. What up, Hex? What's going on with that image? What does it say? Local H? That kind of reminds me of a Garbage Pail Kid. You guys ever used to mess with those? What's up, Amy? Amy Lee. 1 a.m. You better go to bed. Past your bedtime. How's it going on the other side of the rock? How's everybody's 2026 going so far? Never a dull moment so far. Right, we got Trump acting like Dog the Bounty Hunter, literally snatching up the leader of Venezuela. That was interesting. How do you go from being a president of a country to sitting in a New York jail cell? Crazy. It's a locale from the internet. I just used the image. Oh. So does he have ears too, or what's going on? Looks like you cropped it. Amy says it snowed here. How much? Does it not typically snow? You guys, I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit excited about the merch. I'm like, get here, hurry up. I was able to custom design the hats where you can print underneath the bill or the brim, whatever you want to call it. So I'm excited about those. And everything's going to be in like bright color. Super stoked. And I ordered XXL. I know you guys are always yelling at me about that. Why don't you ever get the XXL? Usually because you get the deals, right, on extra large. Everybody orders extra large. But yeah, you're right. It's a little bit tight. So I think I got two XX. Two XX. I think they might both be black. And if I'm not mistaken, it says alternative media across the front. And then the media spelled with a lowercase m. It looks really cool. And then underneath that, it says the Sleuth Intuition channel. Five centimeters. So you guys don't usually get snow, huh? Hex is asking, do you know much about Richard Allen's appeal and what happens if he loses the appeal? From my understanding, they'll give him a longer sentence, if not the death penalty. No. If he loses the appeal, nothing changes for him. It's business as usual. He'll serve out his term. He risks nothing. It's his constitutional right at no risk. What do you think about the Ron Logan stuff? We got two jailhouse snitches, probably equally motivated to make some shit up, but also think about it. Put yourself in their position, right? You're sitting in prison. You're like, man, how can I get out of this? How can I wiggle out of here? And then boom, your jail cell, the door opens to your jail cell, and in walks Ron Logan. So else is gonna, let me take advantage of that. But also, if for whatever reason you're not even thinking about that, right? You're like, oh, Ron Logan, maybe you don't even know a whole lot about the Delphi case. And then Ron Logan starts doing all this crazy shit. And then the light bulb goes off. Like, oh shit. Like this is Ron Logan. Apparently he's attached to some high profile case. Like I'm gonna tell him what he did, I'm gonna tell him about this. Maybe this is what I've been waiting for. This is the wiggle room. Grunge, what up? Says nuts. Jerry Redbird. The only way it could get worse is if he were granted a new trial for some reason. That's the only way he could get a worse sentence potentially. Yes, correct. So if he gets a new trial, yeah, he could get the death penalty. Is that what you were asking? What's going on, She Warrior? Yeah, I think so as well, Grunge. Grunge says BG looks younger than Ron, in my opinion. Heck says I'm Australian, so laws are different here. True that. Yeah, there's just something about Ron Logan. Like the way he just was like taking all these reporters down to the crime scene. And the way he would kind of go to this place in his mind, which to me is very reminiscent of like fantasy or like internalized thinking. Like, can you believe it? Two people, two kids killed right here on my property. Like, wow. Can you believe it? Moves younger than Ron. Well, Ron definitely moves quicker than a young man. Like, he definitely moves quicker than anybody I've ever met at that age. But I still don't see him on that bridge. But I have to consider the fact that if the face is so pixelated, the same thing could be happening with the other features of the body, kind of distorting what we're looking at. And then angles, the same way you can argue them, um, towards Richard Allen, kind of the Tom Cruise effect, you know, point the camera from a low angle upward and you'll look taller. But if you're making that argument, you're also admitting and conceding to the fact that the bridge guy seems tall, right? You're saying, well, he does seem tall, but it's because of the Tom Cruise effect. And then you don't really know exactly what the angle was. I mean, we know it was low, somewhere near, I would say, Libby's shoulder height. So I don't know. It's just very difficult. Amy says, yes, I agree. And shorter too. Yeah, to me, when I first saw this person, I said, dang, this guy's short and stocky, broad shoulders, little legs, because that's how I'm built. I knew it right away. But I have to consider that just because that was my first impression doesn't mean that, that's the truth. I have to consider the variables. Mark and Betty, what up? Shout out to the UK. That's what I always say to my friends on the other side of the pond. UK? Sounds like something's wrong. Something's wrong with your voice. It sounds funny. Yeah. Does it mean he's guilty? No. It's just something that I can't lie about. It stood out to me. In the way he would take people down there alone, and he would have that little fanny pack. He would have it on. You could see the strap kind of coming up underneath his collar there. So he's not wearing it like a traditional fanny pack. He's like wearing it over his shoulder. Like a fucking like they do in the hood. You put your little fanny pack across your chest and your pistol's right there. I see a lot of people doing that nowadays. I don't think they realize how obvious it is. But it's really creepy to see Ron possibly armed when he's not supposed to be. And he would take these reporters down there, just him, the reporter, and the cameraman. And he could tell that they were scared. And he was like, look, remember he was talking, and whenever it was a reporter, he was rude and short. It's like he was upset. Like, I agreed to this because I thought it was going to be a female reporter. All I know is he scared the shit out of Alexis McAdams. Yeah, like he was going into a fantasy, Jerry. What if KK, his dad Logan, and Richard Allen were in a corn ring? Well, that's what Reese's trying to say. And honestly, it fits. Like it makes sense. But That also could be why he's making it up, right? The reason it makes sense is because he pieced together all of the puzzle pieces and made it fit somehow, right? Kind of forced the pieces to fit, or he has inside knowledge. I just think it's real funny when you have people during Richard Allen's trial talking about this box cutter and how it's like how powerful it is for the prosecutor, right? Only the killer would know this. Everybody was saying it. I was saying it too. I was like, damn, right? The pathologist, Dr. Core. Oh my gosh. Eureka! By George. A box cutter? Runs down to the garage. Great Scott. Hold on. Heck says, I've always thought Richard Allen is involved, but with all the Anthony Shot stuff, it's made me question if others were involved. Honestly, if Richard Allen sat down with law enforcement and said, all right, guys, the appeal's over. This is what happened. You know, I've always been a ticking time bomb. You know, and he just gave an explanation, like, you know, I was a ticking time bomb, and I was just it was just bound to happen. Well, why did you target Abby and Libby? Honestly, I was targeting anybody that I thought was vulnerable. At that very moment, there was nobody on the trail. It was these two girls. And honestly, I was thinking about taking my own life. I got, you know, I was too afraid to do that. So I went and did something crazy. If he came out and said something like that, I'd be like, all right, case closed. But it's almost as if he's stuck between a rock and a hard place. He's like, well, if I came out and told the truth, I would probably still get 130 years or possibly the death penalty. So there's no reason in doing that, right? If I tell on him and you, we're both, all three of us are equally going to be punished the same. So there's, right, at that very moment, there's no motivation for him to snitch on anybody. It doesn't benefit him at all. And if you're going to calculate the risk potentially to his wife and his only daughter and his, you know, the two people that he cares about the most, even his mother, his father, you know, this little core group that's very close to him, they could be at risk. His clothing looks 90s era. What's up, Frank? Yeah, and that's kind of Rick's style, right? Wearing that old school like Adidas shit. I used to run around in that shit in fucking junior high. John Ron was in a news interview wearing the same things as BG. See, honestly, that's the kind of shit I can't stand. Nothing against you. Right, wearing the same thing as BG. So if he's wearing the same thing, that means that's the same jacket that the killer was wearing. So wouldn't it be covered in DNA and blood and all that kind of stuff? So I doubt he's going to go around wearing the jacket. So if it's not the same jacket that the killer wore, that means it's just another blue jacket. And if it's just another blue jacket, who cares? I think it's possible to tell from what we've seen who Bridge Guy is or how tall or short he was. I don't know. Let's take a look. This is probably the best video that I've made when it comes to Libby's video. You know, I stabilized it. I rotated the image. I cleared it up a little bit and I slowed it down. It's a weird angle in the video. Yeah, you can tell it's definitely from going at an upward angle. What the fuck, Grunge? What's a bugaboo jacket? Good to see you guys. Watching the interview with Richard Allen and his wife really convinced me the most that he was Bridge Guy because he lied to her. Yeah, I think that this is Richard Allen, but I'm not convinced that he was alone out there. Yeah, this is crazy. That's why this is such a high profile case. And we still don't exactly know what Libby was thinking right here. I think she was thinking, like, okay, we've been set up. As soon as this guy started to approach them, she knew. She's like, damn it. That's all they wanted. All they needed us to do was cross that bridge. I need to document this. And her and Abby are like, well, what do we do now? She's like, well, the road, we got to go down there. That's the private drive. We got to get on that and we got to get out of here. But I think once they walked and looked down the hill, I think somebody could have been down there. I think somebody could have already been down there because they did hesitate. I don't know who did it, but Logan was unsettling. Well, if they ran across the creek, somebody could have been waiting there for them. Right? They can't escape through the bridge because you have Richard Allen on the bridge. They can't run down the hill because somebody's down there waiting for them. Then they're caught. And then if they try to escape and even make it across the creek, there's somebody waiting for them right there. Maybe even two other men. For whatever reason, it sounded like, I mean, if you believe anything that Reese said, it sounded like Ron Logan wanted to try to get Libby over there to the house. And I think Richard was targeting Abby. Yeah, I agree with that, Jerry. Here, let's do what we were doing the other night. Hold on. It should have saved, actually. Here, let's put these filters back on. Richard Allen also admitted being on the bridge, but not being the bridge guy. Yeah, so did Dave McCain. He said I was there between 2 and 4, and I went out on the bridge. CJK. Mark and Betty what? Richard Allen rid his phone for a reason. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know, She Warrior. I can't call it. I just know that that's not how he's going to act in front of the cameras. Like, God forbid you go out and act one way in front of the cameras, and when the cameras are off, you go and act another way. Oh my God, that's unheard of. What kind of evil monster would think up something like that? Like an 8-year-old? What's up, Sees Through? I believe Ron went down there and found them. Reese's story of how it happened makes no sense, in my opinion. For me, a lot of it kind of lines up. I mean, come on, who's that really look like? Who's that really look like? CJK, Ron was a lowlife to women, in my opinion, but these weren't women. That bathroom is what's got me wondering, along with obvious things. What bathroom? Oh, Ron Logan's bathroom. Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, I just can't help but thinking about Rex Heuermann. It's like, oh my God, that's exactly what Rex did. His wife went out of the country. He committed a murder in his bathroom and rebuilt it and told his wife, like, hey, I did it for you. It was a gift. I gifted you a new bathroom. Ta da. What do you think? What's that red stuff on the ceiling? Minor details, minor details. Ron Logan's bathroom. And remember, they delayed doing a full search warrant. They did search his home, though. I don't know if they I wonder if they documented that, what was done during the search warrant. Yep, that's true. You too, CJK. Columbia Sportswear. Me too. I don't really see the Carhartt. That's why I always say Kathy's holding the real Bridge Guy jacket, and everybody laughs at me. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see. Okay, so right after Richard Allen was arrested, people kind of swarmed onto Kathy Allen's Facebook. And let me show you some of those photographs. And this was shortly before the murders as well. I guess we can start with this one. So this was Thanksgiving right before the murders. Oh, I might have lost the other two. Let's see. Oh, here it is. So I believe this one was December before the murders. Look how he looks too. Doesn't he look young? He's like clean shaven. So just before the murders, you have Rick wearing this blue jacket. This doesn't look like his Carhartt jacket, but it could be, right? It kind of does now, I guess, now that I look at it. But it doesn't look like the one that was in his closet. Right? Nice jacket. Here, let me pull up the one that they had in they released with the exhibits. Does this look like the same jacket? This one has like a collar. It has a collar and then it has a large hood. Can you guys see that? That's all I want to know is where's this jacket? You see how it has a collar? And then it has a large hood behind it. This one doesn't have that. At least I don't see it. Maybe right here. No, look. No collar. All hood. Okay, so the question is Where the hell is this jacket? This one. All right, now everybody laughs at me when I tell them this.
Which means absolutely nothing to you. Okay. This is a fighting to murder anybody.
Look at the jacket that she's holding. Trying to hide the burner phone. Right? He's hooked up to the mall Wi-Fi, going through the Anthony Shots messages. But seriously, where is that jacket? It almost looks like the one that Kathy's got right there in her hands, right? Look at that. Where is that shit? All depends on where Libby was holding her phone to me. Yeah, I'm a little bit far behind. Bugaboo is a Columbia sportswear jacket from the late 80s. Kind of like a windbreaker. Yeah, it does look like he's wearing a skull cap. Right here, it looks like he's wearing a skull cap and some sunglasses over the top. Kind of see a either a cigarette or a white mustache. What's up, Southern Blue Angel? How you doing? Co-burger. The co-burglar. Yeah, he does. You can almost see the hoodie right here. Here you can almost see the gun clearly. Well, Jerry, I think it's possible. I just don't know. What's up, Jody? Mark and Betty. Why do you carry on? If you don't want to be here, why are you here? This one kind of looks like the Trexler guy. Maybe like a straight bill cap. Yeah, sees through a very strange comment or response or reply from Richard Allen to that question. Late 40s, early 50s. Ron's not as tall and lengthy as you think he is. What's up, Stephanie? Good to see you. What's going on, Redfoot? We're looking at Dick Allen's pixelated ass again. I guess so. Wasn't my idea. But man, I'm searching for Ron Logan. I can't find him. Ron Logan. Yeah, he does look a little chubby, a little husky. Why isn't anyone asking who's the black shadow at the end of the bridge? I don't know. Are you going to tell us? What is it? It must be a person. Don Spain in the building. What up, Don? Did you guys know that Don's a big badass biker? Or was? Don't fuck with Don. Right? You would never even know. Such a nice guy. Honestly, most bikers that I've met have been nice. All right, there's that cell phone. Right, you can almost see Abby's got her hands wrapped around it. See it? Shit, it's something. Maybe she's the one that has the box cutter. Maybe they took it from her. But it looks like a cell phone to me. So you can kind of see this flat object right there. Yeah, true that, Stephanie. True that. I've never really looked into the Richard Allen bullet being circumstantial evidence, or is that considered evidence like a fingerprint? Well, I mean, it's subjective for sure, but fingerprints are subjective. So, yeah, I guess it's often referred to as the fingerprint of a firearm, right? As a tool mark. Right? Sees through. Where's that coat? All right, guys, this will be our 5 minute warning. You guys took us back to Libby's video, trying to get a closer look at who this guy is or who he isn't. But honestly, right there, kind of looks like there's a beard. That looks a lot like the Brad Holder. Here, let me pull that one back up. This one kind of looks bearded. Yeah, that would be stupid, right, Caesar? Like, why would you keep the jacket? Anthony France, what's up? I have a hard time believing BG would hang onto that jacket. I agree. That doesn't make any sense. Why would he do that? Zero DNA. Yeah, but zero DNA from any male, right? We know the girls were killed and they were most likely killed by a male. So there's no male DNA. Not just like no Rick DNA. There's no male DNA. So that just tells us the killer didn't leave any DNA. So Rick didn't leave any DNA. I think some do. Or they have an area where you can kind of zip up the hoodie. But that's not what I'm seeing. This is more of like a I don't know, maybe more of like a winter coat. I think it's possible you could zip and unzip the hoodie or the hood, but I don't think it's one that you can tuck away. It just does not look like the same jacket as the one he has in his closet, the Carhartt. It's just my opinion. Yep, I agree with you guys. No Carhartt. Yeah, it could be the lighting too. So don't let that be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Well, Anthony, think about it. If he's out working, he's going to have his big boots on, he's going to have his pants, he's going to get all sweaty. He's going to go to the dump, he's going to throw everything away, he's going to get home and he's going to jump in the shower. So instead of putting on those damn boots, maybe he just threw on some tennis shoes. Because I'll tell you, if I'm doing yard work and when I'm done, first thing I'm doing is taking a shower. Because you're going to be all dusty. You're going to have all the shit in your hair. And then you're going to have to change your clothes. Yep, I think you're right about that see through. And Redfoot was telling me because he's a military guy, that it looks like his military issued beanie. I can't see Ron running home, changing into Superman BG outfit, then going to commit a crime. Well, the way I kind of see it is he was home by 12. I could see him coming home by 12, taking a shower, and then starts drinking. You know, he starts slamming a few beers. So now he's drunk and he starts kind of walking around. He starts walking around his property. He's like, oh, I'm going to go check out the bridge. Goes to the bridge and he just happens to see these two girls. And then, I mean, it's not likely, but I'm just saying that's how it could have happened, right? Came back and got drunk. Who is it, Stephanie? Who is this person? Well, how's he going to tuck him into his boots if he's not wearing his boots? Nothing to tuck him into. Yeah, I have that. We can listen to that next time we go live for sure. It was an interesting conversation. I meant to play it last time we were talking about Ron Anthony, but I forgot. But yeah, that is a good video. What's up, Moonshadow? Kathy is the key. She must know. Yeah, she knows. There's something psychological going on with whatever's going on with Kathy. She's in denial. I don't blame her. That's a good question, sees through. I'm going to say 3 times a week, if not more. She knows. Anthony says she knows. She's got to. By now, if anything. Rick was hardworking family man. Yes, maybe. But he had issues before he was locked up. Don't forget that part. A lot of issues. Remember, they asked him, do you have any mental issues? Do you have any health issues? Do you have any health or mental health issues? He says, yeah, I have them all. He like went through the entire list. Anxiety, depression, bipolar. He's like, yeah, all of it. ticking time bomb, I'm telling you. Yeah, just squint your eyes and you'll see him. Yeah, down and up. People? What people? Moon Shadow. Daughter would know too if that's her dad. The fact defense never put them on the stand speaks volume. Well, the daughter did take the stand, but she only agreed to answer just a few questions. Did your father molest you? No. That's basically all they asked her. And I don't know about you, but I would definitely lie about that on the stand. Right? If that was a deep, they're asking me to tell the truth about a deep, dark secret that basically is going to change her entire life. Like if she says yes, that means he's going to, not only is he going to prison, her husband's going to be like, "What the fuck? You never told me that." Like, what happened? That's just not the place. Thank you for saying was a big bad biker. She's glad we are out of that lifestyle. Good. Yeah, you take care of your old lady, man. We got one job now, buddy. One job. And it's not taking people's teeth. There you go. Yep. It's called the transfer site, not dump site. Yeah, it's right there by Packers. But I mean, they refer to it as the dump. Even in his probable cause, all of the law enforcement officials, they refer to it as the dump. Reese Davis even referred to it as the dump, but it is technically the transfer station. Only about molestation? Oh, the questions. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they didn't grill her. Same with his younger sister. I think she's younger by 5 years. He confessed in prison that he molested his sister. And remember, he said he did it when he was a young kid. So if she's 5 years younger, there's a chance that he did it when she was so young she wouldn't remember. He also confessed that that's when things kind of started to spiral. He was like sexually messing around with kids around his neighborhood, male and female, he said. He basically said that's when it all started. He's like, that's when the trouble started, was when I started kind of getting sexual with all the people around his neighborhood, guys and girls. So I wonder what that means. I wonder if he was being molested. Thank you, Jari. Yeah, if you guys want to hit me up, there you go. Thank you. Hit the Cash App. If you can't hit the Cash App, hit the like button. And we have merch on deck. I'm going to try to get rid of all this merch. I'm going to sell some merch and try to finance a new computer, I think. This shit's just too outdated. I need something more powerful for editing and shit like that. So yeah, if you guys are looking to get some merch, now's the time to do it. Hoodies are 45, hats are 45, and t-shirts are 40. The shipping is included. And we have everything. We have medium, large, extra large, XXL, I think is as big as we go. Maybe even a smaller too. Everything's black and gray. So yeah, if you guys want to support the operation, boom, let me know if you're interested in the merch. We should have it in a day or two. So I'll kind of start promoting it on camera so you can get a better look at it. There are heavier jackets that use the windbreaker material. They aren't super thick or nothing. Yeah, it was that grayish green exercise beanie they used to issue. They're black now. Yeah, and I think that's what he's wearing, right? If you had to guess, isn't that what it looks like? Libby Nabby had visited the bridge on several occasions. Richard Allen also frequented visited the area. Not only that, Libby spent a lot of time at Riley Park. She was on her third softball season. She spent a lot of time there at Riley Park. They have both of those places in common. Those are both Brick's favorite places. He liked going fishing down there at Riley Park. And she would be playing baseball. So imagine her done with her practice or her game. In between the softball fields and where you would go fishing is a playground. So if she leaves the softball area where her family and everybody is, goes over there to the playground, and then wanders off just 100 yards, she could potentially be right there with Rick Allen and they could be establishing a relationship. He could be grooming her. I mean, you would never really know. Thank you, Amy. Make sure you guys hit the like button on the way out. Yeah, that's very weird. He has like this weird energy. You know what I mean? Like maybe deep down he was like really upset about it or something. You know, he just has this really weird energy, kind of like when he was playing pool and his wife says, "Dance for me, baby." And then instead of like dancing like a normal person, he just kind of like starts flopping like a fish out of water. It's just this weird energy. Does that make him a killer? No, I'm just saying, like, man, it's right there. You have to admit what you see at least. Has a wool felt fishing hat. All right, guys, that's gonna do it. I'll see you tomorrow. I have a couple live streams planned for you, and of course, only wish 10 a.m. Monday we come back for all of the rest of you, the rest of the Sleuth crew who is not subscribed to the members only, which is fine. But members, keep a lookout. Make sure you guys have the bell icon selected, and I'll see you guys there. 8 p.m. Be there and be square. Peace.